This is a multi-millionaire, and he's going to jail. You know why? He's Luther Campbell, and he heads 2 Live Crew, and they're upset in Florida. The cops not only busted the rock group, they busted a record seller for selling their albums. Show them the tape, Brian. Incidentally, this is a rock promoter's dream. These guys have been on everything. I mean, maybe even to Nightline, Dayline, yesterday afternoon, tomorrow morning, Geraldo, and here they are. Here's the moment of their careers on the Donahue Show for the second time. 2 Live Crew. Am I kidding you? Look at this, Time Magazine. Who cares about the SNL crisis when you can have a cover like this? All America is upset. Did you ever see what's going on at a concert today? And is it just me, or are you worried about Madonna? And what's dirty to you? Show them, Brian. Here's just a piece of 2 Live Crew. Is this music obscene? A growing number of officials in Florida and other states are saying yes. 2 members of the rap group 2 Live Crew were arrested this week on obscenity charges following their live concert. A few days earlier, a judge ruled their album Nasty as They Want to Be obscene. And now record dealers who sell it could face arrest. One has already been arrested. What's all the fuss about? Well, Nasty as They Want to Be contains a lot of references to oral sex and male and female genitalia. I know that because it says it right here. Where do you draw the line? And what about the First Amendment? This is the first time that a record has been the center of an obscenity charge with an arrest ordered by a federal judge. As we make our way through this program, you should know that there are other people here, including Alan Jacoby, who's the entertainment lawyer. You work for Luther. I'll
Correct.
tell you, boy, you got your hands full. You're selling Luther. You're selling records like it's good, huh? This publicity.
Well, in a sense it is. You know, I mean, we're selling records to a totally different audience. Not right now. You know, our record is a year old, but with all the publicity, there's a lot of people, curiosity is aroused.
Yeah. Boy, I tell you, Elvis looks like from the church choir, doesn't he? Remember when Ed Sullivan, you couldn't show his hips? We got that next cut ready? I want to show you. This is, here's the rock group, 2 Live, rap group, 2 Live Crew at work. Here's just a part of what you see on stage.
Start acting dumb, play cat and mouse, but I know the real reason why you came to my house, so just stop teasing and start to please it. You know what I want, and that's just skeezing. Stop all the faking, girl, you need to quit it. Come on, baby, cause we can do this. For me and for your knees, what you let press, baby, put me at ease. Do something special, you know I like. Silicone lips and please don't bite. Slow and easy, I pull the seat back, up and down as the climax. And no, it's not quite like that. We can do this, so come on, baby.
Show me which one of the lyrics you want to show first here. Okay, I should also remind you this is a live show. This ought to be fun for the next hour. Jello, Biafra, you're the former lead singer of the San Francisco punk band The Dead Kennedys. 3 years ago, you were charged with distributing harmful matter to minors. The Frankenchrist poster was stuffed inside an album. I've seen the picture. It's a penis in an anal area, and it's dirty, come on.
Not everyone interpreted it that way.
Jello,
In
Biafra,
fact,
you
the
look like you work
lyrics
for
were
IBM here. What happened to you in the last
Well, when people turn on the TV expecting Sid Vicious or Motley Crue,
You
why
want to
not
know
play
you're just
Halloween?
You're a solid citizen.
Disguise myself as Phil Donahue and see what happens.
You never know. Tell me, Jello, seriously, this wasn't funny at the time, and you beat the rep, right?
Well, yes and no. It took about 1.5 years out of my life. The police broke through a window by my front door and tore my house apart, went through my address book page by page, comparing notes. You know, I felt like I was in the Soviet Union 2 or 3 years ago or something.
Yeah.
And on top of it, it's become harder and harder to get my records into stores in the first place. Free publicity does no good if the stores themselves are afraid of getting attacked by a publicity-hungry prosecutor or fundamentalist preacher or something like that. There was even a chain called Camelot in Columbus, Ohio. A kid wrote me a letter saying he discovered that every single record with my name on it, even spoken word albums, poetry albums, were all stickered 18 to purchase, regardless of whether or not there was any of the 7 words you can't say on television on it. In other words, I have been blacklisted just like they did to people in the 1950s.
And you probably want us to know you're not a millionaire as a result of all this publicity.
Well, I pay to put my own records out because I want artistic control. I don't want to be like what's happening to the people on the major labels now. A member of a band called Ministry who works for Warner Brothers said that they called him yesterday and said they were slapping tipper stickers, the warning stickers, on all his records, and were charging the band 3 cents per sticker, which is about 6 times the cost of making one of those stickers to put it on. In other words, profiting.
Using censorship to profiting by it.
Yeah.
Wendy O. Williams, former lead singer. Well, isn't it about time we talk to a woman about this? And aren't you gorgeous, Wendy? And you do enter the room and you light up the stage. I assume you're still working.
I'm on a hiatus right now.
But you've seen this drama, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
You were arrested in Cleveland and Milwaukee in 1981. Police said you simulated, says here, Wendy, you simulated a sex act and made obscene motions during your performance. These charges were subsequently dropped. You didn't even go to trial. Somebody's prosecutors...
That's ridiculous.
Tell me.
I fought that. I spent it. I thought it took every penny I made for 2 years to fight that. I mean, it was a ridiculous, trumped-up charge. I was brutally beaten up behind the club. Other people were made. It was a racist attack. The police told me they'd seen me on Fridays the night before, and they thought I was an incarnate of the devil, and they were waiting there for me, and they attacked me and beat me unconscious, beat other people. They didn't like me because my band was made up of niggers and queers.
They said that?
That's what they said, and that's what I was being hit with a nightstick for, and it took every penny I made. And I was the same with Jello. I mean, I pay to put out my records. My last record was about the greenhouse effect. I mean, I pay to put out what I want.
Yeah.
I mean,
Wendy,
I'm a little sick of the system, but
yeah. Wendy, I understand what you mean. I mean, I long for a world where people, you know, my own feeling is that a lot of this stuff will fall of its own weight. You got to be talented. You got to be good. You can't draw a crowd if you don't have that kind of thing. But the more we abuse people like yourself, I think the more likely it is that it won't go away. So.
Well, it's what do you do next? What do you do next? What do I do next? What do you do next, Luther? You know, what do you do next? That's what's important. You know, that's where it's at, and that's why shows like this are very important.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Mike Muir, lead singer of the controversial band Suicidal Tendency. The group's been informally banned from playing to large crowds in Los Angeles. You cannot play before a crowd larger than 4,000, is that right?
Well, we can't play anywhere in LA. Southern California.
Because?
A lot of places. Basically, you need permits to play, and it's not attainable, leave it at that.
You had the Secret Service visit you, did you?
Yeah.
What was the nature of that visit?
We have a song called I Shot the Devil, and they didn't appreciate the lyrics, and they came in and they made me fill out like a 30-page thing and do a handwriting analysis thing. I was supposed to, if I go to D.C., I'm supposed to tell them if I'm going there and all kinds of ridiculous things.
The allegation was that that your lyrics suggested the assassination of the president.
No, it said in the song, it mentioned it was a... See, one of the great things, when I was in an English class, they taught us about hyperbole, simile, metaphors, different kinds of things. And unfortunately, people take what they want out of a situation. Like right now, we have all these people here, and I can say whatever I want. I could be in a suit and tie, but I realize that most people's opinions are already made up. That's why we still have things like racism, things like that, because people's minds are made up. So I'm not going to try to change those people's minds.
You're kind of fed up with the effort of trying, huh?
Yeah, it's one of the things, you know, you can put a bullet in my head, but you can't kill a word I said, and that's what I believe in. And I fight for what I believe in, and not all wars are fought with fists. Sure. You know, and, you know, the worst evil the world saw is, you know, crimes defended by the law, and just because something is the law does not mean it's right. Right. And the funny thing is, there's a difference between legally and morally, and these people may be on the moral side, but my definition of moral is a hell of a lot different.
Yes. Well, it sounds to me, Mike, like you've thought about this for a long time, and I'm very impressed with your thoughtful presentation here. I do ask you the following question very gently to the creative artists on our stage. you do understand a parent's anxiety about sending their kid to a concert where everybody's humping and bumping and grinding and high. I mean, if, you know, we have 16-year-old kids out there. I'm going to lock my daughter in the basement. You got to understand. No, what's the matter? I'm sounding like a reactionary? Tell me.
These concerts, for example, Luke's concerts, are for adults. If he does a concert that's not for adults, then in that case, it's a clean show.
Yeah. How old do you have to be to get into Luther's concert? Two live crew. How old do you have to be?
If it's an adult show, you have to be 18 years and older.
But nobody's checking IDs.
Oh, yeah, they are,
That's
Phil.
what they did in Broward County. They checked out.
Oh,
they
yeah.
do it. They did it in Canada, the whole state of Canada.
So you're saying that the responsibility then is to ensure that the audience does not include anyone under 18?
Just like a bartender selling liquor.
And
He's not supposed to sell it to children.
And this is a voluntary transaction. Nobody forces you to go. You go, you pay your money.
Exactly.
This is America.
If you're an adult, welcome. If you're a child, you can't get in. If you're under 18, you're not
we ask the promoter to tell us what are you getting your concert to. If it's kids, we do a kid show.
I dig. Luther, I say I dig because I want to be inside, if you know what I mean. Luther Campbell and his group, Two Live Crew, performed for us just 2 months ago on this program. Let me just show you a piece of their work on this very stage just 2 months ago. Here's a part of what they do. Here it is, Funk Shop.
Funk Shop! Now, how many of y'all ever been to a hotel and y'all had sex in the hotel? Put your hands up. Now, I know a whole lot of y'all out there lying.
Please come inside, make yourself at home. I want to cut my on boom. You sexy girl, behind closed doors, you would drink my and nothing more. Now spread your wings open for the flight. Let me fill you up with something milky and white. Cause I want to slay you, rough and painful. You innocent bitch, don't be shameful. Break out the ice cubes and the hot water. This is the second half and not the second quarter. I fuck you until you sleep. You would sleep like a baby. And in your dreams, you'd say I'm crazy in the funk shop.
Okay, if you'll all turn your hymnals to page 26, I think we can get on. Okay, here we go. Bob DeMoss and Jack Thompson. Boy, aren't you in the center of America's drama, which even Time chose to feature on its cover.
Phil, then why are we over here?
Why are you over here? Because this is, we want you closest to the host, because that's the power position. Bob DeMoss, Focus on the Family, a youth culture specialist and former musician and DJ. You say Two Live Crew is obscene and not protected by the First Amendment. You want to make your point, Mr. DeMoss?
This country is in the business of drawing lines. First Amendment rights, and unfortunately we need a little crash course here, 14 forms of speech are not protected by the First Amendment. You can't slander, libel, false advertise, or create something that is obscene because it affects the public's interest to preserve itself. And unfortunately, some, not all, of what we're hearing here has crossed the line into the realm of obscenity and has been ruled such.
In the opinion of at least one federal judge in Miami, we should make the point, and I don't know about this particular judge, I don't even know his name, but we have a federal judiciary that is largely Reagan appointed. That does not make. I'm sorry.
This is a Carter appointee.
He is a Carter appointee, and he found this obscene.
Civilly obscene.
Civilly obscene.
It's not criminally. It's civil.
Different burden of proof.
Yeah, and the judge
Jack
said,
Thompson, please.
The judge said the burden of proof was no problem in this case. There are 600 sexual references. There are descriptions and glorifications of the brutalization of women sexually. I'm an attorney who represents women and children who have been sexually abused. And you can't have your heart broken any more fully than to represent a person like that who has been sexually abused, and you find out very quickly if you do this work, Luther, the causal nexus between what you do and the mental molestation of children and the physical molestation of women.
We don't talk about women, man. We don't talk about no women.
Oh, really?
We don't talk about harassing and sexually brutally brutalizing women in my music, man.
How about
you out of your mind? You quote that from another album, from somebody else's album who have sex with corpses and all that. Yeah. So you don't talk about them. We don't do that in my music, man. I'm tired of you saying that,
Yeah,
too.
how about the gang rape on the album?
What gang
Luther?
rape? What quote? You quoted. You read it. You listened.
Yeah.
He has 2 albums, though.
That's right.
He has a clean album and a
show you.
Muir
Yeah,
album.
that's right. And
This is a free country, and we have the right
I've got a
to
right
listen to whatever. And
I don't think I was. Hey,
the parent
Phil.
has
Yeah.
the
Phil,
right
We
what
appreciate
his
very
child
much the
listens to.
enthusiasm. Please,
Phil, let me
doesn't
point
let
out.
his child
Let me
listen
point
to
out.
hang on,
anyone.
Wendy.
Phil, I don't think
let Luther
I.
make this point. You don't let your 7-year-old listen to your own work, right?
It's my job as a parent
To make sure your baby is exposed to whatever you want him to
to
listen
the
to and
clean
see and hear.
version.
Okay.
That's why I do 2 versions.
wait,
I'm
Mr.
clean-
Thompson has a right to make his point.
Okay,
Sir, go
yeah,
ahead.
but the thing is Mr. Thompson is misleading these people.
All right, you'll
and
have a chance
Mr.
to
Thompson
straighten.
don't even have an office.
All
I
right.
mean, he's a crazy man. He ran after Janarino.
Luther.
No.
Please don't.
Miami House stated that Mr. Thompson is about to get disbarred because he's a crazy
Phil?
man. He's barred
Phil?
from radio
Phil?
stations in Dade County. You
All
say
right.
Neil Rogers.
Phil, so-
Say Neil Rogers. I bet he can't say it.
Let him make a point.
Let him say Neil Rogers.
All right.
Phil,
Say Neil Rogers.
Phil,
You
so-
wanted to make your point.
Yeah, so that you don't get sued. Let me point out that the Florida bar said to me that I'm so concerned about obscenity and so concerned about the sexual abuse of women that I must be crazy. So we sat down and we agreed to have a psychologist and a psychiatrist examine me. And you know what they said my problem was, Luther?
What was it?
They said absolutely nothing. The only problem with Jack Thompson is he's a Christian concerned about women and children.
Okay. While we're at it
And
here.
let me point out, Phil, these people don't believe
Why
in
you
the fruit.
single us out?
These
Hold
people,
on, Jack. Why did you single us out? Why
these
haven't you
people-
talked about these groups right here?
These people don't believe because
Why haven't you talked
I'll
about
tell you one.
the X-rated
I'll tell you one
Why haven't
reason.
you talked about the X-rated
I
videos?
have been very concerned about what Jello Biafra
No,
is doing.
I'm talking about Jack.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Jack.
Luther, please let him make the point. Let him make the point.
For 10 years, I have been educating parents in this country about what we're doing to kids. Some of it's great. Some of it's wonderful. Jello Biafra's penis landscape poster was so explicit, Playboy, when they reprinted it, blacked out the explicit parts.
Yeah.
But a jury could not
Put on
find
trial.
the poster illegal.
All right.
Phil, one
Now,
reason.
this guy advocates suicide in a song called Suicide's Alternative. Sick of life, it sucks, sick and tired.
Alternative, you'll be sorry.
Let
me
Shut
just-
up.
Phil,
Jack, I
Phil,
know you
to
want in.
answer-
Just
to
You
answer-
don't understand, don't make no sense. Just because you don't like it, don't mean ain't no good.
Mike, let
So
the
I don't
man
want to even
speak.
hear you.
Mr. Thompson, sir, you get to speak. Go ahead.
To answer Luther's question, one reason I have gone, 2 reasons I've gone after 2 Live Crew, and Luther, you're in more trouble than you know, is because I'm from Miami, the same town as Luther Campbell, and I'm embarrassed that this man, in the New York Times today and last night on NBC News, you portray yourself as a role model from my hometown. And I have an obligation. I have an obligation,
I'm not a
Luther.
role model at the jockey club. I'm a role model with the kids in the community.
He's saying he doesn't come from the same neighborhood that you do.
Luther,
He doesn't speak for the same people
Luther,
you do.
you need to talk to the black parents who call me and say, like a lady from Sarasota, a mother of a 10-year-old daughter, Luther,
I mean,
who
you
called,
lying, man.
Phil, are we going to get to talk
called
here or
and
not?
said what?
And who said, I saw you on the news last night, Jack, and I want to thank you. I'm black and you're white, and I thank you because we had an Easter Day parade 2 weeks ago. Kids 12 years of age in that Easter Day parade called themselves the 2 Live Crew and simulated intercourse in the Easter Day parade. And she's proud of what I'm doing to stop
Stamp
you
this
from
up.
peddling obscenity to children of all colors.
Mr. Thompson, not a few people, and your point is on the record, and it's certainly a valid one. Numbers of people of color are upset with what's happening, regardless of what happens to be the ethnicity of the artist. Please let me make this point.
Okay, I got a response.
We have to at least be allowed to wonder whether racism is at work here.
Okay.
And people who are enjoying the kind of music and the lyrics and the idiom that's being used by rap groups want to know about the loftiness of white guys coming over the mountain to presume to save them from this evil force. Where were you when the ghettos were falling down? Where were you when their fathers couldn't get a job because
Phil,
they were black?
I got your point. Can I respond?
Certainly.
2 responses. As Luther knows, the first judge who found probable cause in Florida 6 months ago, and there have now been 5 of them, was in Fort Myers. And when that happened, the media when the media contacted Luther about it, Luther said, quote, "The judge must be racist and Klan," close quote. And the reporter said, "But Luther, the judge is black." Okay? And when I was back in the 60s, I was elected student mayor of my all-white city, and I stood up at the all-white city council meeting that night, and I said, "Folks, we got to desegregate this city because it's illegal to keep blacks out." And that was the first time my life was threatened. So don't tell me I'm a racist. And don't tell a black judge.
Let me ask Mr. Thompson how he feels about this video. Roll the tape. Take a look at this, Mr. Thompson.
Okay, let me put my glasses.
How do you feel about this?
I was deep, incomplete. I'd been had. I was dead, blue, but you made me feel. Yeah, you made me feel shiny and new, like a virgin. Touch for the very time, like a virgin. When your heart beats next to mine, gonna give you all my love, boy. My fear is faded, been saving it all for you.
That is not a video. That's Madonna in concert, the Blonde Ambition tour. You say this is not a...
That's not the point. What's on trial here is supposedly the First Amendment.
Please forgive us for being curious about how you feel about that.
I think that parents had better find out what Madonna's pumping into the brains of their children.
And but is she subject to arrest? I mean, here's the point.
I'm not the one that makes that determination.
Phil, there's not one album that anyone else, in my opinion, in the history of the world has ever done that's
dirtier than Two Live Crew.
That's exactly right.
And we'll be back in just a moment.
You haven't heard much.
Madonna, didn't they? In Toronto. Didn't she have some problems? Come on, Canada, loosen up. You're the kinder, gentler nation. This surprises me.
Yeah. Hey,
and on the occasion of Madonna's near arrest in Toronto, she had the following thing to say. I'll show you that. It's on the... I would rather have canceled the show than let anybody dictate how I can or cannot express myself as an artist. This is certainly a cause for which I am willing to be arrested. Yes, ma'am.
I want to say that I agree completely with Luther. I think the young man on the end has got a very wrong idea of how black society, as far as dance, from my time, from what I understand. What you're talking about is very common street ghetto language, and it's not meant to be offensive. I think that we know that. And the sexual dances that he shows on TV aren't really perceived as people who do them like I do. They're not perceived as being sexual. It's fantasy. It's a way to get loose. It's not as serious as you're making it out to be.
Call it Little Bumble.
Yeah. Can I?
Anybody else? What's the matter?
Big movie.
I have a young woman in the audience.
You say that your shows are for adults, but when you were here 2 months ago, on the ticket to get in, it says you have to be 16 years old. And you say to go to your concerts, it's 18 or older.
Address that to me. That would be our fault. In other words, they might have 16-year-olds seeing this.
But I'm just saying, they don't prove you to get into concerts. I went to concerts when I was 15 and 16 years old without being
No. You gotta understand what I'm saying. The promoter tells us, hey, look, this show is geared to a kid audience. We do Two Live as clean as we want to be. If the concert says, if the promoter says it's geared to an adult audience, just like the show in Hollywood, those were 21 and older people. They had police officers out there carting those people.
They're mostly
coming
in clubs.
They had police out there carting the people coming in the club, and they still arrested us for performing in the front of adults. Earlier that night, we did a kid show, and they did not arrest us.
Bill, that's because this judge ruled that album is obscene and obscenity is not protected by the First Amendment.
For adults. It's easier to buy drugs or alcohol to get into a show. And let me tell you, the drugs and alcohol is a lot worse than fake.
Why do you have to pick those certain things to sing about? There's so many things you can think about. You talk about proud things and stuff. do you personally get a kick because you get all this publicity for, like, we're going to cause all this trouble?
Not everybody wants to hear Lee Atwater sing the blues. We want our right to sing it our way, too.
Here's a, yeah.
I'm going to say, I appreciate Luther's willingness to express his opinion. However, I'm having a problem with something. I would like for the lawyer right now to define obscenity, because I don't think anyone in this world can define that word.
Well, the Supreme Court did. It's a three-pronged test. It says it has to be patently offensive and therefore below the community standard.
And what's that mean?
Do you want me to answer or not, sir?
Yes, we do. Please continue.
Okay, and it has to appeal to the obsessive sexual interest of the consumer, and taken in its entirety has to be without serious artistic or literary merit. Can you tell me...
Social or political?
Well, what should people do? Should
can
they
you tell...
to see an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie
Bill, can this gentleman tell me that a lyric such as, I'll have to clean it up for you...
Say the words, you don't believe it, then you're a censor if you do.
Why would you find it necessary to say that?
Because the audience doesn't know what's on the
DeMoss.
There may not be only adults here, pal.
There's a choice with the record.
What about-
This is a country with choices.
What about I can say what I want, where I want? Hold on, what about the porno flick?
Wait a minute.
What about the whole
Let us make this point. Bob DeMoss.
Nice, Bob.
Yeah.
Real nice.
You're going to fall of your own weight if you continue to do this. Now you present, let me make this point. You present yourself as the protector of our children against this kind of material.
Something Luke wouldn't do.
And here we are on a family
You know, the people that
television.
protest
All
the
right.
most often...
Hang on just one second.
There's a kid.
Hang on just one
Can
second.
I give the lyric I was going to give and clean
Probably
it up?
not. No, listen,
Let me clean it up.
I gotta come back here tomorrow. I'd like to have the job.
Let me
Hang
clean
on
it
just
up.
a second. Let me help make your point. Here are some lyrics from S&M. Here we go, Luther. 2 Live Crew. Let me see if I can follow this. I'll read it and you watch it. You ready? Here we go. So I pulled a little girlie. This is what I did. Jumped into the rod, took her to the crib, rushed her in the room, sat on the bed.
Grabbed her by the ears as she gave me. Then I turned her over, got it from the back. The was sorry, so the got slapped. Then I took my out, laid it on her chest. She put it in the middle, then she squeezed her. As I got young feeling, this is what I said. Baby, baby, please, just a little more.
Yeah, the bitch got slapped. That's not brutalization, Luther?
Hold on now. Everything that was up on that screen, everything that the man sung, people have done. Adults. If you didn't have, adults have done, had sex that way.
We're against sex. We're against bad sex.
Hold on,
You treat women like that.
You have to decide what is good sex and bad sex.
Yeah. Well.
Let's put the cards on the table here.
I would submit that the brutalization of women sexually is bad sex.
That wasn't brutal.
Yes.
That wasn't brutal.
What did she
slap who? Where did I slap her?
Over here, please. Thank you.
If you're 18 years old, it's different, but I have nieces and nephews who are 10, 11, and 12 years old, and they're listening to it. Now, if one 13 or 14-year-old or 15, I don't know how old you have to be to buy it, they get it. They have a bunch of other little kids who listen to it, and they're listening to it.
They'll get Budweiser, too. They'll get Budweiser. Yeah. So now what? Now what?
That's why I put
it a lot better.
Yeah, but that is totally disgusting.
They hear all those words in a gym locker
that makes
room
me
by the
sick.
time
I got one more for you. Can we see the... Wait, hang on. Stay with me a second. Ready? Let me try one more on you. Assuming we're not playing organ music and showing slides of water lilies after Mr. DeMoss's comment, let me share with you. Here's one of the most popular figures of our culture today, certainly among young people, a very talented young man. Here's his video. His name is Bon Jovi. What do you think of this?
A lot more kids will see that.
Yeah, but I don't want them to see any of that. You know, when I was growing up, I
What should we do is the question.
TV off
Please
and not
let the
buy
woman
the
make her
record.
point, please.
don't know what we can do, but I have 2 small children. Like I said, I have
what you can do when you're the adult.
No, but how can I keep them from not seeing this? I don't want a 12-year-old to see this.
In your house, you certainly do have a say over it.
I have a 12-year-old and a 4-month-old. Of course, I'm not going to let them see it, but I watched Parenthood about a week ago. I couldn't believe some of the things said in that, and that's a PG movie. We turned the movie off. We turned it
You're going to have a
off.
drug-ridden kid if you don't tell your kid about sex. Your daughters are going to be pregnant. It's up to you.
I'm not saying I'm not telling my children about sex.
It's up to the parents.
Sure
If you don't educate your daughter, like a lot of people haven't educated their children, that's why we have a big teenage.
Let me tell you what this man is telling your kids.
I am not saying I'm not going to educate my children about sex.
Let me tell you what this man is telling your kids.
I am going to tell them that.
Right.
This is
Here's the point. Here's the
This is
point. Let me try.
drugs.
Luther's saying this is here and drugs are here. If you as a parent don't inform your children about each of these particular features of our popular culture, then we surrender them to the wolves and they will be consumed by...
You're right about telling them, but I don't think this is the right way to show them.
But how do we fix this? Do we ban it and who decides?
It's going to be there. You're not going to get rid of it.
Therefore what?
I don't know, but I wish somebody would come up with a solution for it, because I hope when my children, another 10 years...
It's up to you. Bring your kids up.
I'm
If they
going to
know what's
educate my
right
children.
and what's not right, they're going to do the right thing. My parents,
The question
I was
is, do you want the
exposed to all
government
of
to
this.
crack down on it?
I
This is
was
the
exposed.
point. This is the
I
point.
think the government's going to have kids a
The
little
solution
bit.
is,
my
the
life
solution is what I did for a parent like you. I put a sticker on my sticker on my record.
Well, there's another question here,
Parental
Luther.
guidance suggested.
You know,
for you to see. So when you see that sticker, you don't want your kid to get that
but
record.
if we arrest Luther, how come we're not arresting Madonna? And what is the difference? And how wavy is this line? Pretty interesting question to me. And we'll be back. Thank you in just a moment. The political story, certainly of the moment, dirty lyrics and who should be arrested. And to do this live did not come off successfully because it more than a little inconvenience for the people hard-working people who work the switchboards at the station, which carry the Donahue show live, Boston, New York City, and other cities along the loop here. I guess Luther Campbell, Alan Jacoby, his lawyer, Jello Biafra, the former lead singer of the Dead Kennedys, Wendy Williams, who was with the punk band the Plasmatics, and Mike Muir, who was with the group called Suicidal Tendencies, the name. All of them want you to know that they did not utter a profanity. Bob DeMoss, you did. You are here as a representative of Focus on the Family, a youth culture specialist. You say that Two Live Crew is obscene and not protected by the First Amendment. Not a few of our viewers want to know whether you think what you said was protected by the First Amendment. You did use the F word on the air, and not a few people heard it. Would you like to apologize for having said that?
I would be happy to. I'll give you the exact same thing I told Senator Jim Lewis before a state hearing in Tennessee. I read just the titles of the albums, and he said, "You, sir, owe this assembly an apology. The words you used, as I did today, are too graphic for a state Senate hearing of this kind." I said, "Isn't that the point? I apologize because I do not want to unduly offend your sensibilities. But the point is, we can sell to an 8-year-old, but we can't talk about it among adults. Something is wrong."
Well, but we can and we are.
Something is wrong. The reason why I'm here is a completely different thing, and going back to what the lady said, the point is not whether someone finds what they say obscene, it's where do you draw the line? You showed her another video and another, I don't want them to see that, I don't want them to see that. Well, you keep going, and where does it go? That's the whole point. And who's going to decide?
Let me point out the reason a line was drawn as to this album is that Alan Jacoby and the ACLU filed a lawsuit. They were the plaintiffs, and they asked this Jimmy Carter-appointed judge to say, is this album obscene or isn't it? And the ACLU, Luther, the ACLU sacrificed your record company on their agenda. And they're the ones...
The ACLU had nothing to do with this case.
The ACLU filed this lawsuit, Phil, because they couldn't concede they're so out of touch with reality that a federal judge could find this album obscene, and you guys shot yourself between the eyes.
But
you're
doing great.
You want to talk about how to touch your brain?
Okay, well, let Jello in here. Let Jello make his point, Luther, and I'll get to you.
Okay, let's talk a little more about the organization that's funding these people and what they really want. Focus on the family.
Penny, Jello.
Focus on the family.
You don't know what you're talking about.
40 million. I read Focus on the Family's magazines myself. Focus on the family.
Let Jello speak. I'll try and give you an uninterrupted opportunity as well.
Fundamentalist Christian doctrine as law. No woman having a right to an abortion. You talk about mentally molesting children, Mr. DeMoss. What about lying to the people in your old organization, Teen Vision, with such charges that just because I wrote a song attacking the corruption of the religious right and religion for profit that I was a devil worshiper? Parents out there, none of you would think twice before banning a book, and that you're letting agents of far right-wing fundamentalists tell you what your kids should listen to. That is dangerous.
I mean, if you start taking these rights away, then we're in real trouble.
Okay, and the thing is, why aren't they going after the X-rated videos? Why is that tip music?
Because
why are you not going after the X-rated videos?
Luther, I assume you don't want them to.
They're showing it. They're showing the sex.
I'll tell you why, Luther, because you can stand outside an adult video store all day and not see an 8-year-old girl come out with a video with it under her arm like they can come out of a retail store and get your cassette, which is obscene.
A sticker.
His sticker is a sham. The purpose of it is to avoid criminal responsibility.
Hey, at least I did take the precaution that a whole lot of
baloney, Luther, that's a lie. That is a lie, Luther.
Okay, I took the precaution that nobody else has did. I stickered my album. I made 2 versions,
the sticker
and I still got these clowns running after me.
And we'll be back in just a minute. There they are at work, 2 live crew. Are you there, caller? I thank you for waiting. I'm sorry it's taken so long to get to you.
Oh, that's okay. I'm a college student at a women's college, and I study art. And what I believe is obscene about, I guess, this whole subject is that these artists are being censored for their art. And we, as has been shown in this program, is that we know that we can go into any movie or watch any television program and see exactly what these people are sent, you know, what
they're singing about.
Sexual acts that everybody's talking about. And I really believe that if we have somebody in the government deciding what we can listen to, see, or read, our society will deteriorate. And I'm waiting for the day that these people are going to also go after books like Lolita by Nabokov, or let's say, you know, again, like Huck Finn, and you know, they're going to, I mean, there's no difference between censoring.
Next thing you know, the Supreme Court's going to say it's okay to burn the flag. I don't know about you, but I'm worried. I got to run. I really do. I'll give you a chance.
Hitler did when he came into power is make a big deal about desecration of the flag.
Yes, he did.
It frightens me how much things are switching. As there's less restrictions on the Eastern Bloc, there's more over here.
Yes, 5-4, you can burn the flag. The United States Supreme Court. Are you there, caller? Hi.
Hi, Mr. Donahue. How are you?
Good.
I can understand why they have to use sex to sell their albums. It's because
they don't like women.
It's because they don't have enough talent to sell albums on their own.
Please let him finish.
I mean, if they have to do something outrageous for America to actually realize that there's a group, there's 2 lives crew, then who needs them?
Who needs them?
Well, their video.
Right.
They edited it because they weren't afraid of their careers going down.
Hang on a minute.
Why is America so scared to establish boundaries of decency? Look at Manhattan Cable. 1-800-INCEST. For God's sake, what the hell is this coming to?
You're worried about this.
No, I'm infuriated.
Yes.
Well, I don't even consider this art. I mean, he's rapping, not singing, number one.
Well, but that's your opinion.
Yeah, well, it's rap. Isn't it called rap?
It's an art. It's a brand new kind of music.
Yeah.
And it's...
Yes.
I think we are all confused. This whole idea of what you are doing, this art form, is new, and we don't know what the boundaries are. I think it should be established. It reminds me...
How do we draw boundaries? I mean, what can you say and what can't
I
you
don't
say?
want focus on the family defining boundaries for my life.
In the 1930s and 40s in Europe, radio came into the fore, and Hitler practically won World War with the new medium, the radio.
That's their point. They don't want anybody who thinks he knows what's good for other people, as Hitler presumed to know, to get in charge of the media. And that's what they think is happening in
One more sentence.
Please make your point. Yes,
One more point. I think sex is important to know about. However, if you would sing about AIDS prevention and unwanted pregnancy preventions, I think you would be much more successful than you are now, and nobody would be after you.
Too loud, we give the AIDS Foundation every year.
Yeah.
And but the whole fact of the matter is, what you might like in your house,
I might not like.
I might not like in yours.
We've got prevention. Jesse Helms would try to throw me in jail.
Yeah, Wendy, let Wendy make a point.
How much money you gave me?
Luther Campbell is telling kids to have anal receptive sex on his album, Phil. That's what he's doing about AIDS.
Yeah.
But I give my money to AIDS.
I'm amazed. It's certainly.
How much have you gave?
Please let the gentleman make his point.
I find it amazing. It's certainly okay to have sex. It's just against the law to simulate it. I find it's totally ridiculous.
No, it's not, sir. Have you listened to this album?
Well, I listened to it here on the, I consider myself a well-educated adult.
That's the clean version. That's not the nasty version.
I'd be curious how many records they sold before all this happened. And what they're doing is they're selling all the records after.
1.3 million.
They're creating the whole thing. So they can get more money. To fight how bad this is. It's all about
Can I say something? 1.3 million what?
We're sold.
Please give them a chance. We're sold what?
To children. To 1.3 million were sold, the most of which were sold to children before I ever found out about the album.
They want to know how you can prove that. I'll give you a chance, Mr. DeMoss.
Record store retailers and you talk to billboards.
Right. If I seem a little apprehensive about you, there's a reason. Mr. DeMoss. We'll be back in just a moment.
Bill, I want to know how these men can avoid the true fact that so many things that are happening, suicide rates are up, teenage pregnancies are up. How can you live with yourselves? How can you say you're not influencing child abuse and all these things?
Can I let that just stand as a rhetorical question while we mine the gold out here? What wisdom we have.
I just want to say that I'm not totally against music because it is fun, it has a good beat. But to Luther, I would be truly embarrassed if I was your daughter. And that's coming from a young girl. The fact that you would teach sex that way.
Oh, I teach it to adults.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
I don't teach it to kids.
We're trying to get America back to morality, not more immorality.
Yes, sir. Did anybody check your driver's license on the way in?
I listen to the music, and I have a girlfriend. I don't abuse her, and it hasn't changed me.
You haven't.
It doesn't.
You're not in jail yet, are you? No. Okay. Yeah.
Hi. I would be very interested to hear a medical point of view, a psychiatric view, the influence on young people.
I have a brilliant answer to that question, but I see we don't have time to give it.
I listen to the music of all these artists here, and I just want to say that.
Say what? I know how you feel. You forgot, huh? Here we are, $100 a minute, and you fold on me. Yeah.
I like Jack to go to the ghetto and learn about black culture and black people.
Yes.
You need to learn that.
Are you there, caller? I'm glad you waited. Go ahead.
Yes, this question is meant to, or comment is meant to go to Luther. He told the lady in the audience that if we don't teach our children about sex, that they're going to go out and get pregnant.
Right.
Well, that is our job, and he is making it look good to them, and so is Madonna.
So should we bust Madonna?
Yes.
You want to go get Madonna?
I was to walk down the street in a teddy.
Hey, have you seen, I'll tell you something, have you seen some of these Donahue shows?
Yeah.
Huh? I'm telling you, next thing you know, evening news, you're going to see this with the handcuff. And you know what? You'll say he's guilty. He's got to be. The cops wouldn't arrest him if he wasn't guilty. What?
I believe now that they're making more money, Luther and making more money now since they censored them. Everybody's buying
millions of dollars.
Buying the album.
Millions of dollars, yes.
America will wake up to get involved with their kids, and that's what it's about.
Yeah.
I believe the way our morality is going, within 10 years, you will be seeing people fornicating on the street corners.
And we'll be back in just a moment.
People in jail is the answer. But I do believe that we do have a social and moral obligation to the children.
Yes. Yeah. I think what?
I think Luther has the right to sing what he wants to sing, but I think he could be making a much better
he's a role model. He could be doing a lot better things.
Yes. Moralistic standards of this society are not going to be changed.
Services provided and promotional fees paid by the father.